Hello dear students, welcome to the another lecture of applied mechanics. In the previous lecture we have completed our second chapter, that is simple lifting machine. Today we are going to discuss about the chapter number 3, that is resolution and composition. So let's see what is the exactly resolutions and composition. So resolution of a force. So you can see on the screen the process of splitting up the given force into a number of components without changing its effect on the body is called resolution of force. So basically resolution of force is nothing but when we have given a one force and we have to resolve that force into number of forces. Means suppose here what it said, it is the process of splitting up the given force. Means we have given a one force like this. Okay, this is our force F, and we have to split this force into the number of components. So we can split this force like this to the horizontal F1 and to the vertical F2. So the summation of these two forces or the combination of these two forces is equal to this F. So this is nothing but the resolution of force. A force is generally resolved along the two mutually perpendicular directions. So basically we can resolve the force in a two mutually perpendicular directions. Means one is in the vertical and the second one is the horizontal direction. Okay, suppose we have a force like this. This is our F. Then we can resolve this F like F1 and F2. Okay, now see the third point what it said. In fact, the resolution of force is reverse action of addition of the component vectors. Now, orthogonal component or rectangular components. So you can see here, F be the force makes an angle theta. You can see in this figure here, this F is the force. What? It makes an angle theta here with the horizontal line. Okay. Or we can say x-axis, horizontal line or x-axis. Now, this force can be resolved into two rectangular components. Means this force F, we can resolve it into two rectangular components like first one is the horizontal line, this Fx, and second one is the, we can take here Fy or we can resolve here also. Okay, so this is our Fy. So horizontal components is nothing but the Fx and vertical components is nothing but the Fy. After that, you can see here in this figure, we can check now here, this is a vertical component, that is the Fy. This is the horizontal component. Here we have generate one triangle, right? That is the right angle triangle. And with F we have an angle theta. So now sin theta is equal to, we can take a sin theta is equal to opposite side upon adjacent hypotenuse. So here our force F, this is Fy and this is Fx. So sin theta is nothing but the Fy divided by F, that is the opposite side divided by hypotenuse. Now you can see here this F we can shift towards the left side of the equal to, then it will be goes in a numerator. So here our next term is nothing but Fy is equal to F sin theta. So this is the value of Fy, that is the vertical forces, and after that you can see now cos theta is equal to, what the formula of cos theta, that is nothing but the adjacent side divided by hypotenuse, right? Adjacent side divided by hypotenuse. Now cos theta is equal to, this is the Fx divided by this hypotenuse. Now we can again shift this force F towards the left side and it will be goes in a multiplication. So here Fx is equal to F cos theta, right? Now, so this is the value for the horizontal line and this is the value for the vertical line. So when our forces is a vertical, we can resolve that force like this F sine theta. Here we can see F sine theta, and for horizontal forces we can resolve the force like F cos theta. Now Fx and Fy are also called as orthogonal or rectangular component. Why we can say it an orthogonal or rectangular component? Because once we have complete this, so it will be converted in a rectangle. Okay, that's why we can say it a orthogonal or rectangular component. So let's see, when the forces are acting away from the point with respect to quadrants, means when the forces are away from the point with respect to quadrant. Suppose you can see here we have a two axes, right? One is the horizontal and second one is the vertical. You see here, this is the vertical axis and this is the horizontal axis. Now we have a force F1 here, after that F2 here, then F3 here and F4 here. So now see here, all these forces are away from the point. This is our point and this force goes away from the point. F2 is goes away from the point, F3 is goes away from the point, and F4 is also goes away from the point. Now see here, this F1 we can resolve like this. So this is the horizontal force, that is Fx, and this is the vertical force like Fy. It is Fy, right? Here the angle is a theta 1 for force 1. Now as we said in the previous slide, Fx is nothing but the what? That is the F1 cos of theta 1, right? And the value of Fy is F1 sine of theta 1, cos Fy is a vertical, and for vertical force we have taken a sine, and for a horizontal component we have taken a cos, right? So this is the resolution for force F1. Similarly, the resolution for F2 is here. This is your Fy and this is your Fx, and here is your angle theta 2. So here is nothing but the F2 cos of theta 2, and this is nothing but the F2 sine of theta 2, right? Then again similarly resolve the force number 3. So this is horizontal, that is Fx, and this is vertical, that is Fy, and this is your angle theta 3, right? Now this Fx is nothing but the F3 cos of theta 3, and this Fy is nothing but the F3 sine of theta 3. After that similarly resolve the force 4. So it will be like this. This is your angle theta 4, this is Fx, and this is Fy. Here Fx is nothing but F4 cos of theta 4, and this is nothing but the F4 sine of theta 4, right? So this is the resolution of all these forces which are away from the point of quadrants. Okay, away from the point with respect to in a quadrant. So this F1 is in a first quadrant, F2 is in a second quadrant, this is your in first quadrant, this is a second quadrant, this one is in a third quadrant, and F4 is in a fourth quadrant. So all these forces is like this. Now see how we can resolve the horizontal forces and the vertical forces. So you can see here we have to resolve all the forces F1, F2, F3 and F4 in horizontally and vertically. So when we are resolving the forces in a horizontal, we can take summation of Fx, means summation of all the forces which act on a horizontal line. So now see here which forces are acting on horizontal lines. So you can see here this Fx, F1 cos theta 1 is in a horizontal line, right? this F1 is resolved in two forces. So this one is a horizontal, again F2 is a horizontal, this one is a horizontal, and this one is horizontal. So we have to take all these four forces in horizontal. But see here, this F1 cos theta 1 is goes towards the in first quadrant. So here the sign is a what? Positive sign. After that, this fx is goes in a second quadrant. Here the value of x is a what? Negative. So that's why we have to take it a minus sign. Again, this is the f3. It also goes in a third quadrant. Means in third quadrant our x-axis is a negative. So we have to take this also negative. And this fourth one is goes in a fourth quadrant. So in fourth quadrant value of x is a positive. So these two we have to take a positive and these two we have to take a negative. So your force would be like this: F1 cos of theta 1 minus F2 cos of theta 2 minus F3 cos of theta 3 plus F4 cos of theta 4. So this is our forces. Okay. Now see, this is the forces we are resolving in a horizontal direction. Now we have to resolving all the forces in a vertical. So we have to write like this: summation of all forces in a y-axis or vertical direction. So here you can see this is our first force, that is Fy, F1 sine theta, which is in a first quadrant. In a first quadrant, the value of y-axis is a positive, so we have to take this a positive. Now in a second quadrant, our second force, here also the value of y-axis is a positive. After that, F3, here the value of y-axis is negative, and here also the value of y-axis is negative. So now we have to take F1 and F2 as a positive and F3 and F4 as a negative. So here we can resolve these forces like this: F1 sine of theta 1 plus F2 sine of theta 2 minus F3 sine of theta 3 minus F4 sine of theta 4. So this is the forces we have resolved in a horizontally and vertically. So hope you have understand how to resolve the forces, okay, which are away from the point. Now let's see the forces which act towards the points. Now you can see here, when the forces are acting towards the point with respect to quadrant. So here you can see, similarly we have a two axis. One is the x-axis and second one is the y-axis. Right. Now again we are applying a force towards the point. So that is here our F1. Again applying towards the point, here our force F2. Again here our force F3. And here force F4. Right. Now all we can see here, all the forces are acting towards the point. Okay. So here we can resolve this F1 as similar we have resolved in a previous diagram. This is the horizontal force and this is the vertical. So here for vertical force we have taken a Fy, and for horizontal force we have taken a Fx. So here for the horizontal forces we consider it as a cos. So here is our theta 1 cos theta 1, and for vertical it will be a F1 sin theta 1. Right. Similarly this force like resolve in a two ways. Here your Fx is equal to F2 cos theta 2, and here Fy is equal to F2 sin theta 2, right? So similarly resolve this force also horizontally and vertically. So here is the Fy is equal to F3 sin theta 3. Here is the theta 2, here is theta 3, and this Fx is equal to F3 cos theta 3. So now resolving the force 4, that is nothing but the here Fx, here is the theta 4, and this is the Fy. So here we can take it as a F4 sin of theta 4, and here F4 cos of theta 4. So now you can see here like this we have resolved all the forces. Now we have to resolving this all forces in a horizontally and vertically. So now you can see here how we can resolve it. So for horizontal we can take it as a summation of x, that is the forces which is on x axis. So summation of all that forces. So here you can see the force which have act in a first quadrant is goes towards the left side, means in a minus sign, right? It goes towards the second quadrant. This is the goes towards the right side, so means in a first quadrant. It will also goes towards the third quadrant, and this is goes towards the fourth quadrant, right? So we can resolve it like this: minus F1 cos of theta 1 plus F2 cos of theta 2 plus F3 cos of theta 3 minus F4 cos of theta 4. So like this we can resolve the forces horizontally, and for vertically we can resolve like, see here, this is the goes towards the downward, so it is a minus. Again here this second force is also goes towards the downward, so it will be again minus. This is goes towards the upward, so it is a positive, and this is also goes towards the upward. So 3 and 4 is positive and 1 and 2 is a negative. So see your resolution is would be like this: minus F1 sin of theta 1 minus F2 sin of theta 2 plus F3 sin of theta 3 plus F4 sin of theta 4. So this is the resolution of your forces. So let's see the next point, that is the resultant of the forces. So you can see here, if number of forces P, Q, R, etc. are acting simultaneously on a particle, means we have a number of forces like P, Q, R, S, or P, Q, 2 or 3 or 4. So number of forces which are act simultaneously on a particle, then it is possible to find out single force which could replace them, that is, which would produce the same effect as produced by all the given forces. So this single force is nothing but your resultant force. So the force which have replaced to the number of force, that is nothing but your resultant force, and the given forces PQR, that is nothing but the component forces. So this is the definition for the resultant force. So resultant force is nothing but when we are, suppose we have two forces, the force P is here and the force Q is here, right? So we can resolve these two forces in a single force like this. So this is your R, this is your resultant force. So these two forces are resolved in a single force. So this is nothing but the resultant of the forces. Then after that, you can see here composition of force. So what is the composition of force? So you can see here the process of finding out the resultant force of a number of given forces is nothing but the composition of force or compounding of force. So we can say it a composition of force or compounding of forces. So let's see analytical method for resultant force. So here you can see the resultant force of a given system of forces may found out analytically by the following methods. So one is the parallelogram law of forces and second one is the method of resolution. So these two methods we have for find out the analytically methods of resultant forces. So let us see it one by one. So you can see here first method, that is the law of parallelogram. So now you can see here it states if two forces acting simultaneously on a particle be represented in magnitude and direction by the two adjacent sides, okay, two adjacent sides of a parallelogram, their resultant may be represented in magnitude and direction by the diagonal of the parallelogram which passes through their point of interaction. So what is statement said? This is the definition of law of parallelogram of force. What it says, if two forces acting simultaneously on a particle. So here the two simultaneous forces acting on a particle. This is your force P and this is your force Q, which are acting on a particle, be represented in a magnitude and direction. So this is the P is the magnitude of that force and Q this is the direction of that force. Okay, means suppose it's given 10 Newton, so 10 Newton is magnitude and this is the direction in which direction this force is applying. After that, here also Q is the magnitude and this arrow is nothing but the direction of that force. Now their resultant may be represented in magnitude and direction by diagonal. So here is the diagonal of these two forces. So this is diagonal. This diagonal is nothing but the resultant of that force, right? So this is the resultant of that force. This is the diagonal. Okay, this diagonal is nothing but the resultant of that forces. So this is nothing but the parallelogram. For what this all this stuff is nothing but the parallelogram. Now see here. Let P and Q be the two forces acting away from the point O. So here in this diagram you can see this P force and this Q force, right, are acting away from this point O, right? So for this sentence we have taken two forces. After that, in figure shown, theta be the angle between them. So here this is the theta, which is the angle between them, these two forces P and Q. After that, what it said, construct a parallelogram OABC. So here O, this A. After that, we have to create here a parallelogram. This is the OABC, right? After that, according to law of parallelogram of forces, P and Q represented in a magnitude and direction by adjacent side. Here P and Q are represented as a magnitude and direction. Both are in a adjacent side. And OC and OB represents the resultant. Here this is the OC and this OB represents the what? Resultant. So here adjacent side OA and OC and OB what represent? Resultant. So this is the OA is the adjacent side and OC is the adjacent side. These two are the adjacent sides and this R OB is representing R, right? Now after that, this is the law of parallelogram of forces. Now let's see the derivation of this law of parallelogram of forces. So you can see here like this. This is the derivation which is asked in a examination so many times. So this derivation can ask in your examination. This derivation is so many times asked in your examination. Okay, so this is very important. So let's see, we are going to discuss about this derivation. So how in examination this derivation would ask, they can ask like this: derivation of an equation or magnitude and direction of resultant force by law of parallelogram of forces. So like this, if you have question like this, then at that time what you can do, let's see here. First thing we have to do, we have to take a one consideration. Like in a previous slide, we have discussed the law of parallelogram. So like similar, we have to take a one consideration. So what we have to take the consider? We have to consider the P and Q are two concurrent forces. So here P and Q are the two concurrent forces which are acting at and away from the point O. So here we have to draw a one diagram like this. So what it said, we have to take a two forces. This is our point O, two force, that is the force P, right? And here is our force Q. So these two things we have considered. After that, what it said, let these two forces P and Q represent in magnitude and direction by two adjacent sides OA and OB of the parallelogram OABC. So here we have to take, this is the OB and this is the OA, and this is nothing but our parallelogram, right? After that, what it said, thus the line joining O and C represent the resultant R in magnitude and direction according to the law of parallelogram. Now what we have to do, we have to join this line, that is the O and C. So this is nothing but your resultant force R, right? So this is your resultant force R. Now see what you can do. What it said, draw a CD perpendicular to OA. So extend this OA and draw this CD line which are perpendicular to what? OA. So this CD line, you have to draw the CD line until it will be meet in a OA line. So here is the CD. So this is nothing but your right angle triangle. This is 90 degree. Okay. After that, draw a AC parallel to what? Draw a AC parallel to OB. So here you can see this OB and this AC are similar, both are parallel. So what force act on this OA, OB? That similar force will act on this AC, right? Q. So now see here, once we have drawn this diagram, what we can do? Now see here, here is our angle theta, this is the angle theta, and this is the angle alpha, right? So now you can see here, so this is nothing but the vertical, right? Vertical axis. So this is your hypotenuse. So for this, suppose here is your angle, right? So this is the vertical. So we can write it as a what? Hypotenuse Q multiplied by sine of theta. Similarly here, from here your force would be hypotenuse Q into cos of theta, right? So let's see. After that, you can see here, OB and OC is parallel, means Q is a similar, means OB is equal to AC is equal to Q. So you can write like this, OB is equal to AC is equal to Q, right? So all these terms are similar. Now you can see here, this OA is nothing but the P. OA is equal to P. So right here, OA is equal to P, right? After that, see here, this OA is equal to P and OC is equal to R. So here OC is equal to R, OC is equal to R, right? So after that, what you have to do now, see here, this AD is nothing but the Q cos theta and this CD is nothing but the Q sin theta. So right here AD is equal to Q cos theta and CD is equal to Q sin theta. Okay, after that what you can do, so see here, this angle ACD is nothing but the ADC or ACD is nothing but the right angle triangle. So here we can write like this: in right angle triangle which OCD. So this is the right angle triangle OCD, right? This is our right angle triangle. So in this, so this is the right angle triangle, means this R is nothing but your hypotenuse, this OD is nothing but your what, adjacent side, and this CD is nothing but your opposite side. So now by using the Pythagoras theorem we can write this term like this: how OC square is equal to OD square plus CD square, right? So this is the equation by using Pythagoras theorem, because the angle is a right angle triangle, right angle triangle. So by using Pythagoras theorem we can write like this. Okay, so now see, this OC is nothing but the R, so it is the R square. Then you can see here OC is nothing but R. OD is nothing but, which is split in a two part, OA and AD. So you can write, instead of OD you can write like this, that is nothing but the OA plus AD bracket square, plus CD is nothing but the, you can see here CD is nothing but Q sin theta, right? So take it as a CD after we have putting the all values. So here you can see R square is equal to, the value of OA is nothing but P, plus value of AD is nothing but Q sin, here you can see value of AD is nothing but Q cos theta. So here Q cos theta bracket square, plus here CD is nothing but Q sin theta. So Q sin theta whole square, right? So let's see, this is the equation. So remaining equation we can see in a next lecture. Okay, so let's try to complete this equation, or we can see it in a next lecture. Thank you.